to this handsome hunka.
So, Jared Leto is back. That's a thing that's happening. I'm actually kidding. I'm excited to see Leto's Joker in this film for two reasons. First of all, we didn't really get to see much of him in Suicide Squad. Yes, his performance wasn't great. He's not one of the best Jokers of all time by any means, but he did have only 11 minutes in the Suicide Squad film. That's not a lot of time to sell yourself, and he did have a very odd and eccentric take on the character, but it's a very odd and eccentric character, so I think that it could work. We just haven't really had a chance to see it happen and all come together for him yet. The main thing I'm excited about, though, is the implications that this has on reviving the DCEU. Because another thing to keep in mind is that Leto was not actually supposed to be in the Snyder Cut. This is something that is being added. Many people have claimed falsely that there are not extra shoots for this film. Many people that are anti-Snyder Cut, are going around parading and saying, oh, there's no extra scenes in Snyder Cut. It's just going to be CGI. That is completely false. There are actually additional scenes with Ray Fischer. There are additional scenes with Ben Affleck's Batman scenes, and there are additional scenes with Amber Heard, who plays Mera. So I think that this film, obviously, from the beginning, had intended to have additional scenes for the Ultimate Cut. Moreover, it's $70 million. Now, I don't know how they're going to make $70 million back on this. This is going on HBO Max, their new streaming service over at Warner Brothers. It's not going particularly well at the moment. Not very many signups, not getting a lot of support, and it's such a crowded industry. I am so sick of all these streaming platforms coming on. I mean, we have Netflix, Hulu, and now we're getting, then Amazon Prime, and all those started flooding in. It's like, okay, we're kind of full here, and then Apple Plus and Apple Premium, whatever it was called, and then now they're doing HBO Max and Peacock and all these other ones. I mean, it's basically undermined the entire point. If you remember, the reason that we all switched to Netflix in the early 2000s is because we had all of our movies in one place. We can order a CD and we can get any movie we want. It's basically Blockbuster, and they'll send the movie to our house and we can watch it. And they have pretty much, once again, every movie because it's just a DVD shipping service. Then Netflix evolved and it became this online digital streaming platform where you have to have the exclusive rights to digitally stream that. And now that there are so many companies in the market, CBS, ABC, NBC, they all want to do it. And then Netflix, and then Hulu, and then Apple, and Amazon, and whatever. They're all trying to get their hand in this pot. And as a result of it, now this Netflix, which used to be the one, entity you had to subscribe to and you could watch any movie, like Blockbuster, where they mail you the DVDs, now it's basically like you have to have all of these different streaming services, which altogether combines to maybe be more than cable. So it's so interesting because the whole Netflix and Hulu phenomena was to try to move away from cable, and now we need to have so many subscriptions to be able to watch the shows and entertainment that we love because the rights are divided amongst so many different parties that we basically have to pay as much as we were paying before with cable. I say all of this to say $70 million, probably going to be tough to make that up with the Snyder Cut. You have to consider they charge, $13 for HBO Max? $70 million divided by $13. You do the math on that. That is 538,461 memberships and signups. I don't foresee 500,000 people signing up for HBO Max to watch this series. With that being said, it is a 4-part miniseries, 1-hour episodes per episode, and there are 4 episodes there, so it's going to be much longer than a movie. Typically, his Ultimate Cuts are 3 hours. This is going to be an hour on top of that. Presumably, the additional scenes with Ben Affleck, Ray Fischer, and Amber Heard, and now Jared Leto's Joker are going to fill up that 4th hour. So basically, his film was already going to be 3 hours, Snyder Cut Justice League, originally. And now with these bonus scenes with, Ben Affleck and Jared Leto's Joker, that will get it to 4 hours. Now, keep in mind, this is what I think is so exciting about this, is that this has the potential to revive the DCEU. Going back to my previous point, now we have David Ayer, who's pushing on Twitter for release the Ayer Cut. If Jared Leto's Joker can make a good impression in the Snyder Cut, particularly with his interaction with Ben Affleck, then 2 things will happen. 1, Ben Affleck will certainly get that HBO Max series that they've been trying to get him to do. And 2, Jared Leto will probably come back for the Ayer Cut of the Suicide Squad film. And I think that the Suicide Squad film, within that movie, there's a good film in there. A lot of people say to the contrary, that there's nothing good in the film and that it's just a piece of trash. And I think that the final product is not the best. I happen to enjoy it and think it's really, really fun and enjoyable to watch. But for most people, they don't really like it. But I think that if we got more scenes with 3 characters, it would at least capture our attention. And those 3 characters are Ben Affleck as Batman, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and Jared Leto as the Joker. If you put all 3 of those characters together on screen in the film, then the movie's dynamite. And we know that they cut scenes from from the Ayer Cut, quote unquote, of Suicide Squad. And we know a lot more about what actually happened behind the scenes on that film. Jeff Johns actually was playing the role of studio meddler on the film. And this is something that David Ayer has confirmed. One time, somebody asked David Ayer about his cut of the film, and he had mentioned that the whole intro scene was actually a corporate sort of, once again, intervention, basically with Jeff Johns, who added all of this context at the beginning of the film with the text and the cards and the way in which it flashed between the characters. At first, it opened up with June Moon in Ayer's cut of the film, and it went from there, whereas in the, actual cut that was finally released, it was more like a music video. And also the film was edited by a music trailer editing studio. And that has led many editors in the Hollywood industry to say it is one of the worst edited films ever, blockbuster films ever released. And it's just not edited by somebody who has experience with filmmaking or editing. It is clearly edited like a music video. I mean, the first 20 minutes really showed that. It makes the movie fun, and it is fun to watch, but I really think what is more fun than the fast and quick edits and the music and all the high-profile songs they paid millions of dollars to get in the film is the compelling interaction between 3 of the most compelling characters in the entire DC Extended Universe. The DCEU, to me, is a fascinating thing, because all of the most interesting aspects of it we did not get to see. In Batman's lore, I wanted to see Red Hood and the Joker interact in BVS. I wanted flashback scenes back to to Red Hood and Jared Leto's Joker. But we didn't get those. Instead, Ben Affleck just walks by the suit, looks up in it, looks back down, and then we're back to talking about the bullet in the desert in BVS. It's like, okay, well, that's a missed opportunity. And then in Suicide Squad, you're like, wow, this Joker portrayal is really interesting. Not only that, we're going to get to see the Joker and Harley Quinn interact for the first time on the big screen. And then we watch Suicide Squad, Joker's in the movie for 11 minutes. And it's like, wait, what? I understand that the Suicide Squad is not predominantly a Joker-based, team or whatever. That's totally fine to not have him be the main character, but to only have 11 minutes, especially when we know that there was all these other scenes shot. We saw behind-the-scenes footage. The first footage leaked from Suicide Squad was Harley and the Joker fighting in the little Joker mobile, Maserati, Lamborghini type thing they're driving around in the movie. That scene's absent. The Joker intervention scene, when Enchantress is doing her, whatever, weird belly dancing, the Joker's supposed to intervene then, too. And that scene was cut. And there was supposed to be a scene of him surviving the helicopter crash. That scene's not there. So ultimately, you have a lot of the most compelling aspects of the film were cut out, and the stuff that's just kind of like meh, with Enchantress and her plan to destroy the world, and whatever Captain, Slipknot and what he's up to and why he died. It's like we could have skipped on that, and that is kind of concerning about the new Suicide Squad movie where there's like 30,000 million characters. But anyway, that's an aside. So $70 million, they're not going to make their money back on it, but here's what they can do. The $70 million is going to be a loss on its face value, but the entire Justice League movie has been a loss, so that also doesn't really mean anything. But what can happen is it can revive the DCEU, which will provide billions of dollars instead of millions to Warner Brothers. If this film is able to jumpstart life into the DCEU, revive interest in a Ben Affleck television series, revive interest in seeing a Jared Leto Joker standalone movie, revive interest in a Harley Quinn and Joker combo movie, revive interest in the Suicide Squad, get an Ayer cut where they can make more money off of that. That is a cut that is truly finished. The Ayer cut would not need to do reshoots. It really is just an edit of the film with additional Harley and Joker scenes that we want to see. That is the whole pitch of Suicide Squad that we were so excited about. It's like, yes, it's about the Suicide Squad. It's about Deadshot. That's going to be great. Will Smith will be great. But we also get to see Harley and the Joker interact for the first time on the big screen. excluding, of course, the animated series, which is not the big screen. This is the first time we were going to get it on the silver screen, on the movie screen, and we didn't get it. But I think that film is still there. It was just cut out by Jeff Johns. For whatever reason, he wanted to take it in a more corporatized kind of mainstream direction with the music video and all that shit. And it was like the worst reviewed DCE movie ever. Even Green Lantern has better reviews than Suicide Squad. So here's the thing. Fans are not going to like this news. Fans are not going to like the idea of bringing back Jared Leto's Joker. For whatever reason, there has been a level of resentment against that actor and his portrayal. I think that, yes, it is true. He's certainly not one of the best Jokers ever. He's in the bottom half. I think even after this film, it's not going to change our mind. We're not going to see this movie and be like, well, this puts Jared Leto Joker in context. Maybe he's actually the best Joker ever. It's going to be like, no, what I think our feeling is going to be is like, so yeah, weird hot take on the Joker, weird take on him. But overall, it's interesting enough to justify watching. I always give the reference of like a train crash. If we know a train crash is going to happen right outside your house, even though it's horrible and catastrophic, you still want to go outside and watch it just to see like what happens, because there's still some level of uncertainty of what exactly is going to happen here. And I think that that's kind of the case with Jared Leto's Joker. They're going to get a lot of signups for this because people are going to be like, how the hell? Oh, they're going to be like, the Joker is in episode 3. Not only that, you're building out this huge expansive DC universe where we not only have Darkseid and the Joker in the same movie. Sometimes you don't even see that in comic. That is comic books coming to life. Here's what I love so much about this. When these movies, like Justice League and whatever, hit the theaters, they have to reach a mainstream audience. They have to appeal to everyone. They have to appeal to grandma, grandpa, everybody has to be able to go and understand Justice League. And that's when you get those shitty moments where like the Flash is like following on Wonder Woman and like, oh, sorry, like stupid stuff like that. Okay, that's exactly the type of movie that was being made by Joss Whedon. Okay, but insert Zack Snyder. He's a comic book guy. Say what you will about him. He, yes, he's overly loyal to The Dark Knight Returns, but he overall has a pretty good grasp on the DC canon, and he respects these characters in the same way that we do. Like, he knows that Darkseid is really fucking cool. He knows all of that other people don't really know, like mainstream audiences, right? So to have Darkseid and the Joker and more scenes with Mera, having more scenes with Ben Affleck's Batman, like this is going to be so cool. It's going to be so fun to watch. And not only, this is even more than what it was pitched to be. This was pitched to be Zack Snyder finally realizing his vision. But what's really happening here is he's able to realize his vision to an extent to which he wasn't even able to achieve before. Because it was going to be heavily edited by Warner Brothers. They were going to chop it up for theaters. They were going to cut stuff out. Now this is 4 hours, and back to my previous point about the audience, this is not marketed to everybody. This is marketed to the HBO Max subscribers. That is a more niche audience than everyone in America, everyone in the world, honestly. This is a different market. They are marketing this to comic book fans, DCEU fans. This is made for the DCEU fans that were begging and asking for it. And in the process, they're going to generate some eyes and attention because Jared Leto's Joker, he is that train wreck. He is that catastrophe that's happening 2 minutes down the road from your house. And you're just going to have to go watch and see what happens. And that's really what's going to happen here. So I think that this really could revive the DCEU. He was a bit overacted in Suicide Squad. I didn't think he was great. Don't think he comes anywhere near Phoenix or Ledger on the Joker rating scale. But at the same point, he did a job, a well enough job to justify seeing some more. And 11 minutes is not enough. It's not enough. And not only that, he's only been directed by David Ayer, albeit directed poorly because David Ayer did not fight for him in the final cut of the film. At least he had no choice and was totally cut out. But the fact of it is, he did not do justice to Leto's performance. I'm sure when Leto saw the movie, he was flabbergasted to see that all of his most intriguing scenes with Margot Robbie, all those character beats were cut out in favor of the music video bullshit that made him look bad. And that's partially why he was upset. And then Leto was also reportedly very upset when he was not requested or asked to be the Joker, and when Joaquin Phoenix was cast to be the Joker. But I think he's over that now. He realizes that that was the right move for Warner Brothers at the time. They're just going in this multiverse direction. And I think that we can totally lean into the multiverse with the DCEU and with the Snyder Cut. And that's what I mean. It wouldn't surprise me if in the Snyder Cut we get some of these Flashpoint-like Easter eggs that have been teased for the Flashpoint film, where, you know, we can get different Batmen, you know, throw in Keaton Batman and they're throwing old Superman. You know, that would be really cool to have Darkseid in there alongside some of the time traveling aspects or multiverse aspects of, like, you know, can you imagine Michael Keaton fighting Darkseid? I mean, that's a way to one up what Marvel did. Marvel did something really cool in Endgame with the whole time traveling thing and revisiting some of the old moments. You know, DC could up that one more time and actually, once again, I mean, just the idea of previous Batmen, like Christian Bale coming back to fight Darkseid alongside Ben Affleck Batman, or, you know, once again, Jared Leto and Ben Affleck being on the same screen. We've never seen them together. What if the scenes are going to be flashbacks to The Killing Joke? What if the scenes will be flashbacks to Under the Red Hood? I would absolutely love that. They could even throw in an Under the Red Hood storyline, like a little 15-minute story in one of the episodes, the flashback, you know, subplot. So much happening here. Shout out to all of my elite members. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, and comment with your thoughts down below. My name is Slick Moff. See you guys in the next commentary. Peace out.